What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the 214 Sports Show, episode 59, the Dat Win episode. Throwing it back right there, number 59 for the Dallas Cowboys
Still
back in
one
the
of the
early
great ones.
2000s, back in some poverty days, post-dynasty for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm Joseph Duffy, joined alongside, as always, by the great TJ Krowitz. How you doing, TJ?
You know, we all could be doing a little bit better, but as we were saying before we started this podcast, the sun rose up again today. Joseph had a great bagel. So
Delightful bagel.
yeah,
Amazing bagel.
so come on. Can't help but just smile sometimes.
Can hardly complain. I'm smiling. It was an interesting weekend for those who are keeping up with things outside of sports too. Like if you want to watch WWE, John Cena turned heel. How about that? Did you keep track of that at all, TJ?
Joe, I don't Joe, I don't watch grown men wrestle each other. Sorry. Fake wrestle. Sorry.
It's still real to me. It's still real to me. Yeah, but you know what a crazy moment that was. At the Elimination Chamber, last pay-per-view before WrestleMania 41. John Cena,
I bet
man,
it was crazy, man.
a
It was
John
crazy.
Cena who is a Make-A-Wish Santa Claus almost, has the most Make-A-Wish grants in the history of the foundation. People have been
Wow.
asking for this for almost 2 decades, and it finally happened. A lot of that made me smile, but you know what didn't make me smile? You know what made me really sad? Boy, these Dallas Mavericks, they find a way to really just make you sour. And sadly, Kyrie Irving has a torn ACL, and his team is riding a brief little two-game losing streak as well since the last time we were recording the show. So to start us off for the Dallas Mavericks in this disaster class of a season, in just what has been 3.5 week, or at least a month downfall with trading your best player to the LA Lakers, the Mavs are finished, right?
Joe, this is a really loaded question, and it's very hard to answer this question. I'm gonna be honest. Look, I think every emotion has been tweeted out by Mavericks fans at this point. I've
Yeah.
never seen a fan base grieve as much as this, other than a fan base that has seen like a death within their team, like Johnny Gaudreau last year, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those were real grieving moments, and the Luka Doncic trade, oh my gosh. Other than those moments, this is the most a team has grieved ever through a fan base. Um, and yeah, I mean, watching the Kyrie Irving injury is just like, I guess it's just kind of a way of symbolizing that this season was already over. And that was just the final nail. I mean, that was just the final nail in the coffin, to be honest. Jason Kidd going in the press conference saying they're running out of bodies. Well, maybe Jason, maybe don't play Kyrie the most minutes out of any NBA player for the past 6 weeks. All right. This injury is on you, buddy. This injury is on you, and this injury is on Nico Harrison. You guys ran Kyrie into the ground. He is 33 years old and has had injury problems in the past. I think Joe had brought it up like in a tweet or something. He's averaged like 50 or so games per season in the last few years, I think. Not in the last few years, but kind of career wise. I don't know if that's right, so don't quote me on that. But I mean, look, he already had injury problems. Um, this was just going to be a disaster when you had him averaging 39 minutes per game after the Luka trade. It was not going to end well. He was going to get hurt. Unfortunately, he got one of the worst injuries you can get, especially at his age. It's truly heartbreaking. And to make it even worse, who knows if that's the last time we'll even see him in a Mavericks jersey. We really hope that the duo that Nico has been dreaming of Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, this isn't the last time we see them. We don't see them just for one half of a game. Because he has a 44 million player option available this offseason. Does he pick it up? I don't know. I don't think that he'll be able to get money like that again, especially with this injury and his age. So it will be interesting to see if he picks it up. But I mean, history tells us the players usually don't pick up their player option unless there's no other option left. So, I mean, we'll see. I'm just praying that that's not the last time we see Kyrie in a Mavs jersey because, I mean, if there's any hope, any love that I have for the Mavericks at this point, it would be through Kyrie Irving.
Yep, and no Ramadan Kyrie for the Dallas Mavericks fan base this year. Just sickening to get that notification yesterday because you knew when he was limping off the court 2 days ago that it was probably something bad, but you just didn't want to believe it. And that he would be out for a while. But this is just a crazy blow. And I can't even be surprised really because it's just been an unreal past month for this franchise. It's interesting if you're on Twitter a lot and you're seeing all these fan bases. I have never seen this before. All these fan bases trying to console Mavs fans. I was saying, we feel so bad for y'all. Oh man,
Even
I've never
Lakers
seen this.
fans.
Yeah, even Lakers fans, like, man, I mean, even I feel bad. We got Luca, but geez, no fan base deserves this. And I've really never seen that ever before. Besides maybe like the grieving that you were talking about, with like deaths in the franchise. But this is really unprecedented territory for a franchise. Nobody just gives away their 25-year-old star. And when you see something like this, it gets from worse to just absolutely horrid. 80 gone, Kyrie gone. I mean, you're gonna have to rely on Spencer Dinwiddie and Jaden Hardy and uh no Derek Lively
Or Kessler
still.
Edwards minutes, y'all. Get
Tesla.
ready.
Max Cruz is gonna have a lot on his shoulders, I guess, for this next few weeks. But um, it's hard to watch, man. And so Nico Harrison, has he really, in your opinion, do you think this front office has already surpassed Jerry Jones and the Jones family for being the most hated front office, possibly in the DFW Metroplex already, just in 1 month?
Oh, absolutely, Joe. I think like even thinking about it, like the Schottenheimer hire is just such an afterthought at this moment. People
Oh yeah.
were angry at that hiring. I haven't heard the name Brian Schottenheimer in weeks now. It's been a really long time.
Excellent PR.
Jerry Jones, yeah, he's loving laying low right now. He is loving everything that's going on. Look, Jerry, it's a tough question because you see all these people talking about Nico Harrison now, but we've had Jerry Jones being talked about and criticized for a long time. I think Jerry Jones, he's got the throne of longevity, longevity because he's been what 30 years now at this point. People have been complaining about what he's doing ever since he fired Jimmy Johnson. And the Mavs, I mean, come on, they got the most disdain right now. Obviously, it's hard to compare to with anything. And again, I'll say it for the last time. This will be the last time I mention it. This Luka trade, I think the only thing that compares to it is the Babe Ruth trade from from the Boston Red Sox. I don't even know if they're the Red Sox at the time, to the Yankees. But look, I think what the main difference is, and this is what I think the reason why Nico is the most hated. So the thing with Jerry is that he has a thing, and this is, take with a grain of salt. He has a thing for loyalty with his team. All right. He sticks with his guys. He loves saying that, next man up. He doesn't want he likes the culture within his organization. He hires people within his organization, Schottenheimer, Jason Garrett. He usually loves the give the people promotions. And that's what Nico Harrison completely threw out of the window with this trade. So I say they're definitely more hated. He's shown that he has no loyalty to the fan base, to the team. Jerry Jones wouldn't go out there and say that the future of the Cowboys is in the next 4 years, not the next 10 years. He wouldn't say that. He wouldn't alienate his fan base like that, which is crazy to say. It's absolutely crazy to say because Jerry Jones has been the most hated guy in the DFW area for the last 30 years. Um, but at this point, it's expected for Jerry Jones to not perform well, for him to say, we're all in, and then go out there and sign Rico Dowdle. We know that that's what's going to happen. All right. And so Nico was the most beloved GM other than Chris Young. I don't know. I mean, Jim Nill actually is a good one too.
But
But
unfortunately, he doesn't get
Nico,
enough praise because,
well, he
he's a
needs to
high
win a
hockey team in
championship.
Dallas. Yeah.
He needs to win a
Yeah.
championship. I will
Yeah.
say he's a great GM, but Nothing means anything without the ring. Or
Yeah.
I guess the cup for hockey. But I mean, look, it's expected from Jerry Jones. Nico Harrison was seen as one of the best GMs in basketball for the last few years. And so that was just so unexpected. It's been so unexpected to see him have his downfall like this and to completely burn this franchise down. That's what the Cowboys will know, that the Cowboys will go out there and probably be successful, maybe, or somewhat successful in the regular season. Um, but the Mavs, man, they have no future at this point. They have nothing. They have nothing. They could go 0 and 20. They could go they could go 0 and 20 the rest of the year, which is what people want. They want us to tank now, obviously. And that would put them at what, 32 and 50? That's not going to get them good lottery odds, unfortunately. I mean, it just sucks, man. And we have never moved up in the lottery in the history of the Mavericks. So there's no future for the Mavericks. I would definitely say Nico's the most hated.
It's disgusting. It really is just sabotage. It's just sabotage of the highest order. You see videos of saving the Mavs were losing to the Bucks on Saturday, this past Saturday, and all the fans just flocking for the exits. That right there was a crazy image, and you don't see that a lot of the AAC unless it's just, the final minute
Raise
in
the
the game.
season ticket prices.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna raise the prices by the way by like $10, $12. Um, and then yeah, people are already showing that they're canceling their season tickets. I mean, rightfully so. How can anybody say
I'm not going to
like
again.
how can anybody fault a Mavs fan for doing that or saying, you know what? Because I'm usually a guy who's like, be loyal to your team, never switch teams. I've been like that since day one, but this has to be like the only condition where, man, if you leave this team as a fan, like, can you blame them? Who does
Look,
this to their team? Who sends away a generational talent and then just has all this injury luck? It's horrible.
I
It's
can't
horrible.
even wear any of my Mavs stuff in my wardrobe anymore, unless it's Dirk, unless it's my
Yeah,
Dirk jersey or something like
yeah.
that. I can't wear. I want to throw away this Mavs pillow pet that I got in my bed right now. And I also just want to give a personal thank you to Nico Harrison for making me the biggest idiot on the road every single time I go out for a drive, because I decided to put a Maverick sticker on the back of my car just
Oh
a few
man.
days before the Luca trade. And now every time I go on the road, I look like the biggest idiot. So thank you, Nico.
Oh boy. Rough time in the Metroplex. But moving on to the front office that we were talking about just briefly as we were talking about the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones. CD Lamb had a restructured contract just recently, and it will save the team $20 million in 2025, freeing up some cap space. A lot of discussion on what the Cowboys are going to do with pick number 12. Do they go running back with Ashton Genty, which is kind of seeming less likely these past 2 weeks with draft talks, and the combine just took place last week? Or do they go with an edge rusher, say like Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M, a great talented edge rusher who can be paired with Micah Parsons, and they could possibly wreak havoc on the defensive line, possibly stop the run for the first time in my lifetime. Who knows? I would love to see that just one time, a top five Cowboys run D, but who knows? But are there any combine standouts for you? Just firstly starting with the combine that happened this past week. Anybody who stood out to you in your opinion, and if not, some of the worst performances that come to mind?
Oh yeah, well let's start with the negative stuff first. I want to talk about the worst performances. Look, if if the Cowboys decide to go QB at any point of the draft, please don't draft Milrow. Please don't draft Will Howard. All right, I was not impressed with how they were playing in the combine. I saw people really complain about Will Howard in the combine. A lot of overthrows. Look, we don't need another QB, I think, at this moment. But if we do draft one, just don't do Will Howard or Jalen Milrow. Um, do you have any standouts first?
Honestly, I mean, Quinn Ewers, I think he had the best,
Yeah.
like, I was not expecting that. And listen, I know I may
Is he
sound
healthy now?
biased. Yeah, being healthy. I mean, that report that came out a few days ago about him getting hurt after the Michigan game or during the Michigan game rather, and playing hurt pretty much the entire season. Obviously, you have some Longhorns fans saying, "Oh, what are you doing? Like you have Arch Manning in the backup. You don't have to play the guy hurt." But the fact that he was able to play like that, throughout the season, banged up as a quarterback playing with that, it's kind of insane. So I gotta give him his just due for that. And he looked like
Salute.
the best. He looked like the best. Yeah, proud of y'all. Salute. But I'm really surprised by that performance at the combine. He looked like the best thrower of the football, to be honest, that in the entire QB class. And I don't really think it was that close. But yeah, Will Howard, that was all-time bad performance in the combine. That was really, really bad. Hopefully his pro day is much better because um that was just not the look that he wanted, I'm sure. Overthrows in the flats, not any accuracy downfield, just was all over the place. And to think that that guy was the national championship quarterback was kind of insane. But he did have the Avengers as his
Played great.
receiving core. He had an all-star
He, he
cast,
did
so
he did play not too bad.
he played not too salty. Yeah.
I guess sticking with some of the Longhorns though, I do want to shout out. I do think that Matthew Golden. I've always said Matthew Golden would be a great fit on the Cowboys, great complement to CeeDee Lamb. He had the fastest 40 yard, I think. And he didn't have to have any talk beforehand like the other Texas receivers and the running back Jaden Blue. But now it's, even with that combine performance, it's going to be very unlikely he drops to the second round. A lot of people have him going in the first. Unfortunately, to the Commanders at 29, which is great, fantastic. Always drops to the divisional rivals, don't they? Some people even have him going to the Steelers, I think, in the first round. So probably not going to be likely. But if he's fallen in that second round somehow, I really hope the Cowboys can snag him. That would be amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
finished with, I believe. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Are you going?
no, no, no. You go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
Yeah,
you go ahead.
4.29. Yeah, appreciate it. 4.29 40, I believe, officially. Who knew that he was actually the officially fastest receiver on the Texas team? Obviously they don't go deep to him a lot. A lot of his routes were by crosser, just by simple out routes. Um, but the fact that he was actually officially the fastest receiver in the Longhorn room for Texas was pretty interesting. And he had a
Yeah.
little bit of a quiet confidence to him because he didn't really talk much. To be honest, I still don't know what he sounds like to this day. Have no clue. He's very quiet. But I've been on the Matthew Golden train since day one, ever since he transferred to Texas, because I remember what he did to Texas the year prior with Houston. He was tearing this defense up.
Mm-hmm.
So when they got him, I knew it was going to be an amazing year for him, and he has not disappointed. Literally one of my favorite receivers in the past 5 years.
Most
Um,
definitely.
yeah, and I was
He's
rooting
seven
for him.
eleven, man.
Yeah, always open somehow, and I was always rooting for him to get more targets early on in the season, and they finally came around
Right.
with it. But if the Cowboys got him, that would be awesome to pair him with CeeDee Lamb because if you take a running back, obviously very risky, especially at pick 12 still. I know Ashton Jeanty is talented, but Rico Dowdle had a really solid second half this season. I know you're kind of poking fun a little bit earlier, but Rico Dowdle, he finished the season pretty well, and you don't have to have, an insane talent at running back because their careers are not exactly as long as other positions still. And there's a little bit of a running back renaissance, if you would say, this past season. Saquon Barkley had an all-time season. Derrick Henry was great as well. So you could argue the running game is possibly making a comeback, and with a possible revamped O-line, maybe he is a good pick. Unfortunately, without Zach Martin now, who retired, which absolutely stinks. Um, this O-line is going to look much different than years past. Officially, no more Frederick, Tyron Smith, or Martin now for all the nostalgic Cowboys fans. But I wouldn't mind Shamar Stewart either. Personally, I would probably lean Shamar Stewart right now at pick 12. I think we need to revamp this defense. New DC in town. I'm fine with the offense. I wish we could take a receiver, but I think we could rely on the second round for a receiver and then go edge rusher possibly in the first round.
Yeah, and I do see Shamar Stewart being a good option. He's had a dominant combine, dominant pro days, kind of, or with it. With sorry, I kind of just lost my train of thought. But look, Shamar Stewart would be a great pick. I love looking through Texas A&M Twitter and seeing all of them complain like, "Where was this during the games, man?
Mm.
Where was this? He was not trying this hard or
South
something."
Carolina.
But I'm actually going to go with pick number 12. This is a pretty common answer, I think, but it's going to go with another Aggie, former Aggie, current Ole Miss Rebel, Walter Nolan at D line. Um,
That's good.
I think Jerry Jones's history, I think it screams Ashton Jeanty at number 12. But like you said, he could not be available. It's looking more and more likely that he won't be available at pick number 12. And we've seen players practically beg to be on the Cowboys in recent years, and Jerry Jones just like doesn't even look their way. It's hilarious sometimes, but I mean, I think the best fits Walter Nolan. You talk about the run game doesn't have to be the best, but their run defense has to be good to win championships. And we were at 29th in the league last year. I think we gave up 4.8 yards per carry. I got it actually right here. So yeah, 4.8 yards per carry. I think Nolan, look, he's going to be a day one starter. You got Odigizua just re-signed. That's going to be a pretty good duo for years to come. I think he's a good plug and play run stopper. He's basically he can be potentially a really good pass play rusher as well, which could really put some pressure off of Micah Parsons, especially if you lose someone like D Law in this free agency. So I think this makes the most sense. I would still be happy with Ashton Jeanty. But look, I mean, I'd love that you brought up the running backs in the combine. I think somebody who could be a really good day two steal, which I actually not even going to be day two, maybe second round at this point, would be probably the best name, Byshul Tuden, the running back from Virginia Tech. I think he had the fastest 40-yard out of any running back, and he had a 1.49 10-yard split. Somehow I would really look at. I mean, if Jeanty's not available, Tuden would be a great pick. He had 1,159 yards, 15 touchdowns, 0 fumbles at Virginia Tech last year. He's going to climb the ranks throughout this combine performance, but I'm hoping that that could be somebody that the Cowboys can look at for their run game in the future.
Hey, even in the future as well, you talked about that guy, but I don't know if you heard about Caleb Johnson. His stock might be rising as well, the Iowa running back. Big guy, 6'1", 225. Oh man. Pairing that with Dak Prescott in the backfield, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind it for a day two pick if they decide not to go running back in round one. But looks like we're both on the train of
I like the
D
speed
line.
though. I like the
Yeah.
speed. I'm gonna pick Tuden over
Yeah,
Johnson,
his
but
Caleb's not exactly as explosive in the open field as the guy you're talking about. So I would say we're both on the train, of course, and taking a D lineman in round one. I picked 12. Do you think before we get out of this topic, they trade up, trade back?
it's a possibility. I think if the players aren't on the board, like if I mean, I don't know. I think they might pick the receiver out of Arizona. I think there is a chance that they could do
Ooh,
that.
Tetaroa McMillan.
But look, I mean, come on. You got if GT's gone, if Walter Nolan's gone, which I don't think he will be. I think it's going to be more. I think the edge rushers are going to get picked before Nolan at times. I think that there is a chance that like James Pierce from Tennessee or Shamar Stewart could get picked before Nolan. So I don't know. I think if anything, they would trade it down. I don't know. I think more draft capital. That's something that the Cowboys have done. But look, they had the 12th pick with Micah Parsons. They trade down for that. But the 12th pick, look, they've gotten some pretty good luck with that. So I hope they kind of stay put. But I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, for sure. I understand that too, getting traded capital. And, there's not exactly bad drafts that the Cowboys have had these past, 5, 10 years. Usually you leave the night pretty satisfied if you're a Cowboys fan in the draft. So I anticipate they're gonna have a good night. I really do think that. There's a great class ahead of them. Obviously not an insane QB class. They've been kind of trashed these past few months. But I do think they can have a good draft. There's plenty of talent here, plenty of talent. Let's move on to the Dallas Stars that are rolling 1-2 straight. Excuse me, 3 straight now after a win against the New Jersey Devils last night. Won 4-3. Very close game. Since that last loss where not the Cowboys, the Stars gave up 6 goals. Jake Ottinger didn't have the best night in Columbus. They've racked off 3 straight. What are you seeing that you love from the Dallas Stars recently as they are still going through a lot of injuries?
Yeah, and hockey is a game of runs, so the Blue Jackets have been kind of hot. 6 goals, not always ideal, but we told you that, or we talked about it last week that it's gonna be some pains with the defense. They were kind of short staffed and they've been playing a lot. They were going to be tired. But look, I mean, it's all trending up for the Dallas Stars right now. they're really keeping my sanity with Dallas sports right now. I mean, they went going 4 for 4 on the power play against St. Louis. I think that was on Sunday. I want to say that was Sunday. That was just beautiful, beautiful. Their passing has been awesome recently, but I mean, they followed it up. They followed up with 1 for 5 power play. They went 20% against the New Jersey Devils a couple days ago. Which so I mean they kind of show those inconsistencies, but that top line man has been awesome recently. I love that Wyatt Johnson has been picking up and he's been finding the net like a he's been finding the net a ton recently. Same with Jason Robertson. And even when it comes down to Rupe Hintz, who hasn't been scoring a lot, he's been able to find Johnson and Robertson a bunch, which has just been amazing. Their passing has been awesome. Their chemistry is awesome. And Thomas Harley, man, what an amazing season he's having. Coming off the Four Nations where he dominated for Canada too. He came back and just dominated for the Stars as well. He had that game winner against the Devils, man, just so awesome to watch. 4 seconds left. It's like Dallas needed that goal, that win. It was awesome. And he's done such a fantastic job on the power play and in the absence of Miro Heiskanen. I think the Stars are one of the top 3 teams in the league right now since January 1st in the power play percentage, which is just great to see. It makes me almost want to see him just take over as the lead defenseman for the power play over Heiskanen, even when Heiskanen comes back. But Heiskanen's also great too. I can't ever say that to him. He's my favorite Stars player. But I mean, look, it's great. Last week I said that I hope that they get 7 out of 8 points in this home stretch. They currently are 6 out of 6. Next game is against the Flames, who,
Banger.
hey, I guess they're not, they're kind of on the playoff fringe. You never, you always kind of want to avoid the teams on the playoff fringe because those are the teams that are going to fight the hardest. But we'll see. I mean, they're super hot. Are they too hot? Are they getting too hot too early though? Are they getting too hot too early? You know what? I'm gonna say no. Dallas needs it right now, man. They need it. Dallas sports needs a team to ride with, and the Stars are doing the job right now.
This
Thank
team is
goodness.
playing, yeah, they're playing their hearts out right now. And you saw Josh Bogart, the Stars play-by-play announcer. He put out a tweet after that win against the Blues where they went 4 for 4. He said this was the first time in Dallas Stars history that they went 100% the power play while scoring at least 4 power play goals. Just insane efficiency for the Stars offense, and they love to see that, especially after all the injuries that they've been going through and finding a way. They're playing so desperate, which is pretty interesting after having so far a really good season. But they're taking every win they can get, and that was a big win against um forget the name, the Devils, with Thomas
Devils,
Harley's game-winning goal right
the
there.
Nico,
So,
the Nico Harrisons,
yeah, oh man, the
Nico
Nico
Harrison.
Harrisons. Well, I can never get that out of my head. I don't know how I'm gonna get over that, dude. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness.
Time will not heal this.
Dude, how am I supposed to watch basketball like for the rest of my life? I don't know. Before we get out of here, we're going to talk a little bit of the Texas Rangers. Not too much news, just same old spring training games. Adolis Garcia Albombi had a little bit of an oblique injury. It has already begun for the Texas Rangers. The injuries just will never relent in spring training. Happens every single year. Hopefully, it's not too insane. They've kind of been resting him the past few days for precautionary reasons. But one of the biggest headlines of the past week, Jacob deGrom. We were talking about him 2 weeks ago and how he can be healthy this season, but they're not going to really be starting him the first series necessarily. He's going to be more of a back end guy to start off the season. Possibly they're making a 5, 6 man rotation. Do you like this declaration from Bochy early?
I mean, we'll see. I guess it is good to ease him in. I guess it was funny. We had a buddy in our group chat kind of poke fun at it and say that it's instead of putting him up against a team like Boston, they're going to ease him in with a cupcake schedule. Somebody like maybe the Athletics or so. But I actually don't know who's after Boston in our opening series, but I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think that the 5 man rotation needs to be stuck with right now because the 6 man, I don't think our bullpen has enough depth put another guy in our rotation right now. Um, but I mean, I guess it's going to be Nathan Evaldi on opening day, which is fine. He's been the reliable ace for the Rangers recently. But Jacob DeGrom, man, we all know he's the best pitcher. He's the best pitcher whenever he's healthy. All right, so hopefully he could stay healthy. Obviously, probably not likely, but I was hoping to see him sooner than later. But you know what? Whatever keeps him, whatever's best for him, that's what we need. We just need him to be healthy.
Yeah, and Jacob deGrom trying to make do this $185 million deal. Of course, I've complained about this in the past, but he's not technically a World Series champion, which stinks. Because he got the ring, but if you're not on the postseason roster or the official World Series roster, you're
Yeah, his
not
name's
officially
on.
a champion. So he's not actually a champion on that 2023 roster, which makes
Let's
no
change
sense
that.
to me. Yeah,
Who
let's change
knows?
that.
But,
He's looking for retribution this year, maybe.
yeah,
But Jacob deGrom, look forward to seeing what he can do this year. This roster, I mean, it's looking nice. I've said this in the past. The bullpen's a little bit sketchy still, but we'll see as we still don't really know who's the official closer in the back end, which is kind of insane that they didn't go after a really nice closer and saying Tanner Scott or bringing back Kirby Gates. But they're gonna open the season with Boston. You've mentioned who was they were playing after. It's gonna be the Reds in Cincinnati, which like maybe I can understand, but they're looking pretty good too. Like if
it's
Jacob
the
deGrom's gonna
Reds.
open the season there, yeah,
It's the Reds.
you'd rather play them than the Boston Red Sox, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, no, good point.
Yeah, so hopefully the Bochy gap year can be put away and Texas Rangers fans can feel more free this year and the offense can make a comeback. So that's pretty much all we got this week on the 214 Sports Show, episode 59. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at 214 Sports Show. Also on Spotify, where we also post this at its full length. You can find all of the episodes there as well, some clips too. And also follow our accounts on X/Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We post our clips there as well and promote the show. Have some nice spicy takes, especially on Twitter, where we really let it fly, both of us. Um, and then, yeah, follow that
The
at
combo.
214 Sports Show as well. TJ, would you like to give your socials?
Yeah, my X/Twitter is tj.krylowitz. Or actually, no, I apologize. It's TJ. I always get this mixed up. I feel like every week. TJ underscore Krylowitz for X/Twitter. On my Instagram, you got tj.krylowitz.
Yeah, and for me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Joseph underscore Duffy 99. Again, at Joseph underscore Duffy 99. And then I'm finally getting this right. You can follow my TikTok at Joe underscore Duffy. I don't know why I changed it. I think that it used to be the same maybe as the X one, but maybe it's just at Joe underscore Duffy now. So I'm looking at it now at JOE underscore Duffy. Again, follow the 214 Sports Show on YouTube and Spotify. We post the entire podcast in its full length, every episode on YouTube and Spotify on Thursdays at 11 a.m. weekly. And then you can also follow our Instagram and socials, other socials on at 214 Sports Show as well. So that'll do it for the 214 Sports Show, episode 9, the Dat When episode. And for TJ Krolowitz, I'm Joseph Duffy. Have a great rest of your evening.
Salute.